Welcome back, everybody, to the Quake Pro League, the last day of regular season play for Stage 2. I am 40 Lions, joined by the one and only CSX and the legendary DJ Wheat. Fellas, it's been a long day, but we have one more set left, rapha versus cha1n. Admittedly, this one's not going to tilt the scoreboard too much. rapha, if he comes away with a victory, will be the #1 seed, which I'm sure he wants, but in terms of placements, both players going to solidify the top 4 and get that first round bye, but still want the momentum going into Stage 2 finals.
We'll just admire
That's exactly what I thought. Exactly. Just let that breathe, guys. That's fantastic.
Let it breathe. Let it breathe. What I would throw out there is that typically at this point in the stage, rapha was, the last couple stages we looked at, rapha was like clearly the #1 seed. Doesn't mean that rapha is playing any, worse or less or than he has in the past, but that the hang has definitely picked it up, and rapha has the chance to kind of clinch that #1 seed back. But it's been interesting to watch that kind of unfold on the US side. And for me, cha1n, cha1n is a player that I was so excited coming into the Stage 2. We saw him in Stage 1 really kind of sort of blossom and had some great games in the Stage 1 finals. And it kind of looked like he was picking up these bags of momentum and was going to move in and really maybe shake things up. Hasn't quite happened. He's definitely, sitting kind of right in the middle of the pack. But I think there's many people, myself included, that was kind of hoping to see cha1n kind of level up, right? Find his new form here in Stage 2. Not quite sure that's happened yet.
No, I agree. I think rapha said it himself in one of the interviews. I don't think his form's dropped off. It's just everyone else is just growing, and it's up to him for how he stays ahead of the pack. cha1n isn't one of them that has stepped up as much as others, and I agree. I don't think he's regressed again. I just think he hasn't improved as fast as other players. And I definitely would love to see him step up the aggressive side of his game to try and take these games, particularly against opponents he should be beating by the scruff of the neck, and really dominate them. That kind of Razy style, perfect example we just saw. Take games away. I don't think he does that. He has a really great style. He keeps in games, he keeps them close, but now that's starting to come back to bite him as people are working him out as well.
Let's take a look at the pick bans one last time for the regular season of Stage 2. We're going to get into it.
You got to make it sad, don't you?
It's like that Vitamin C song, as we go on something. Athena versus Scalebearer on Molten Falls. cha1n yoinks that Athena away from rapha. Then we got Heal versus Ranger on Deep Embrace. And then we got Vale Galena versus We Got a Death Knight, boys. One last ride for Death Knight in the regular season. Dan, your thoughts first. Let's see you break this down.
Scalebearer and rapha's hands on Molten could be really rough for cha1n. He did pick Athena into the Scalebearer though. Once again, I've always got to say, if you're going to do that, you're brave and you have to have a strong game plan. So one would hope he knows what he's doing, but we know how good rapha is just controlling the map, suffocating you. You're giving him a super quick champion and a huge stack. I really don't think cha1n's got a lot to work with there. Deep, cha1n does get his favored kill pick though, can play nice and slow positional. rapha picks a champion, he can still keep a tempo up. He loves to do that, he loves to set the pace, and Ranger is a really good one for that. Obviously it's still a tough ask to overcome a kill, but Ranger is a good utility champion to even it a little bit. And then Vale, we've already talked a lot about how we think Death Knight's premium map is probably Vale, and that's exactly where rapha picks it. Galena is a nice stable pick there, and probably one of the strongest to play on that. But again, Death Knight can just cause so much havoc in these close combat encounters that you don't really know how it's going to pan out.
I don't know if this stat is true, but this is the most we've seen DK in one day than I think we've seen him in 2 stages. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, I mean these picks coming out from rapha, interesting, but he's confident in the champions that he picks, and it's definitely one guy that makes me think twice about, scale and what the capabilities are. But I think he uniquely wow, Dan.
I knew Dan had something in store for you. I knew it. Wow. I hate it when parents fight.
It's fine.
Wow. I think that rapha uniquely does what I didn't particularly like what other players would do with scale, which was like, it felt like a lack of control, and that the Bull Rush is more of a panic, like, oh shit, I need to do something, and then it just so. Look, man, sometimes a hypocrite is just a person in the process of changing. Dan, so okay, I can.
It's fine.
I can say
I'm glad you admit your mistakes, Sweet. It's a sign of maturity.
Look, man, I was right during the Stage 1 finals. There was a lot of bad scale picks. Just period, end of story. Only since Rapha picked it up, then you've been throwing it back in my face.
I've been shouting from the rooftop since I came back to the QPR. It's just these pros. They have one way of playing. They see this, and they can't see the bigger picture. And now they're beginning to embrace the full beauty that is the scale. But it's fine.
Dan just throwing blanket shade on everybody. Nobody is safe here. Players aren't safe. Casters aren't safe. You gotta love it. You gotta love it.
Come at me, bros. It's fine.
All right, well, it's that time, boys. What do we think? Predictions.
3-0 Rapha.
It's almost too easy, right? It's unfair. I feel like cha1n has the ability to take a map off of them, but I think the key to it that we've seen before from xanaku and Maxter, you have to play a little crazy. You have to catch Rapha off guard. You have to play unorthodox, and even then, Rapha's so good at mid-game adaptation that it's difficult. I feel like that's the key to kind of make Rapha crumble, and I use the word crumble very loosely. I know, but I think that's the key to it. It's a matter of if cha1n can play that style of kind of aggressive, unorthodox, and catch Rapha off guard, in my opinion.
Maybe that's why we have an Athena, completely off meta, particularly against a scale. Could shift the scales of time,
But Rapha's really good at Athena, so he should know that matchup pretty well. But maybe you're right, Dan. I don't know.
I feel like your butt, Dan, comes with like a really like
those cheeks. Sweet. Are we really talking about those cheeks on
because
stream?
it's like but if he doesn't, then this could be real bad. So.
What a day! All right, the predictions are coming in right now.
I say, I would just say 3-0, and I would like to be sitting here saying, cha1n's really, advanced in stage 2. I want to say it's 2-1, but Rapha's just looks too strong, and cha1n has had some victories, but right, we're still looking for him to fully come out of that shell.
There are 2 million points for Rapha right now. It's
94% for cha1n.
94% to 6. Look, first things first, Dan, I love you, but get out. All right, go work on your hair. Go work on your backup vocals. Wheat and I'll handle this. Don't worry about it. We got this. But secondly, going over the predictions, chat seems to believe that it's going to be probably an easy 3-0 for Rapha. I mean, if the first map predictions are any indication, heavily favored for Rapha. I feel like cha1n deserves a little bit more respect on his name, but I mean, with the dominance that is Rapha throughout, stage 1, literally undefeated, not dropping a map. Now, like the huge oh shit moment is he lost 2 maps. If that's the biggest, faux pas in his arsenal, he's still pretty good. So it's going to be a rough road for cha1n, but I feel like he could do it. I mean, he kind of knows seeing xanaku and Maxter play him. I feel like he kind of knows the formula of I have to play a little crazy, but we'll see. I mean, if I had to go, it'd be 2-1 Rapha, just because I want to give cha1n the benefit of the doubt that he could do it. I feel like he's done it before, but sorry, real quick, you.
No, I would say I would agree with you so hard, 40, but like last week or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, I don't know, the Rapha versus Dehang matchup, during week 11.
Yeah.
That was number 1 versus number 2, right? And Dehang has shown that consistent improvement here in stage 2. Rapha is still like that twisted young kid that like tears legs off of spiders, right? Like that's kind of what it felt like a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a tall order. Would love to see that too, but just not the case in this point in time.
It was definitely brutal, but any given Sunday, Wheat, that's what makes Quake so beautiful.
True.
Let's get into it. Last set of the day, map number 1, Rapha versus cha1n live. Right now, we are going to start off on Rapha. He's got that scale bearer. It's just a matter of time. Maybe the bull rush. There it is. Sending cha1n flying. Almost gets the frag. And okay, a little bit of, I guess, reset. Or nope. It looks planned, maybe.
Yeah, that's it's a rough way to start this series right there. What do you say? It's a rough way. But I like the use. Again, the bull rush is I think it's so situational. That is like one of those super situational moments right there. So Rapha with the 1 frag lead, I kind of threw his merits, but the heavy is up as well as the mega. Going to put a few extra seconds on that mega, or on the heavy, but the mega gets the same treatment. So both major items very, very close, within a second or less than one another. And now the moment, as we have both players slowing it down a little bit, 40, and cha1n figuring out, what do I do here?
Yeah, how do I get back into this? And I'm going to put my Dan hat on here, even though I'm not as muscly. The biggest muscle on my body is my beak. But I feel like that was a forced suicide to reset the stack immediately because it was such a bad start for cha1n. The only reason I don't think that was planned is because he said LOL in chat, but that's the only thing that really makes sense. He was off to such a rough start immediately. He wanted to respawn, get at least a natural stack going to try and fight back. But regardless, still down 1. Rapha, a huge stack with that scale bearer. The items aren't going to come up for a while. It's a good rail for cha1n to try and chip away at the stack, but Rapha knows exactly where the resources are to get that, 90 damage that was done back right before the item. So Rapha just way too on top of these things. There's the crazy play with the hook. Is it going to land? But cha1n needs to be careful. There's the mega. Oh no. To the heavens, great rocket from cha1n, and now it's even in the shotgun blast as Rapha thought he was going to escape, wanted to get the rail, and cha1n ties it at 0.
Ties it back up at 0. cha1n very, very low right now. Rapha on the hunt. Only has a rocket machine gun to his name, while cha1n frantically trying to get some sort of a stack built up. Great defensive rail. Got the spam on the teleporter exit, but that heavy is up, and Rapha has got it. Yeah, I mean, a bit unorthodox of a fight, but, I think that's what Dan was talking about in terms of, like, let's mix it up here with the Athena. I said it could go very wrong, and in that case, it did not. It actually went exactly how I think cha1n really wanted it to happen, and definitely not how Rapha wanted it to go down.
Yeah, he's very, very not happy about that. You can almost hear him say, what gives him the right? But still tied at 0 is cha1n trying to make a play on this heavy, potentially. Rapha goes driving on by, trying to clear out the armor shard. Now he drops out, and there's the hook out, and just like that, cha1n makes his escape. So good play, actually avoiding all this damage. Might even get a rail, barely missing out on that. That would have been a big, big rail. But so far, cha1n is doing everything he needs to do, not taking damage, getting some items to keep his stack as big as he can, and even so just pales in comparison to Rapha. 1 mega and scale is a thick, thick boy.
Yep, and I was just going to say, like, the toothpick physique of cha1n has been paying off as he's just kind of narrowly dodged a lot of these rails coming out here. And it'd be a lot different game if Rapha was hitting those rails. Right now, only 1 of 7. And he's, fired a fair amount now. So really, it's just interesting to see Rapha kind of always on this chase right now. So what cha1n is doing great is just mobility, right? On this map, staying out of line of sight, attacking when he thinks it's the most advantageous to do so. Whereas like Rapha is kind of just, looking around and going, where is this guy? How am I going to get this frag? Like, there's a nice rail sending cha1n limping away as he's going to restack here over by the mega, but it's the shot that Rapha needed.
Yeah, and that's the problem with these lights. Great rail there from cha1n. You work so hard to get a decent stack, but 1 rail and you just get smacked right back down, and you have to work so hard again to try and get something going. cha1n just missing out on a rail opportunity, but luckily dodges one of Rapha's as well. The rail's not landing for either player here as we are deadlocked at 1. There's the bull rush, but the stairs are Scalebearer's enemy here, but a great rail. This should be a frag if Rapha wants to chase it. Tele play from cha1n, getting the hell out of there, but for how long? He can actually swipe this heavy, but he doesn't want to die.
Those are the kind of escapes I have in FFA where I think I'm a god. But to actually see it happen in a pro match versus someone like Rapha, that was pretty impressive. I mean, so far, the grappling hook has absolutely been the bamboozle factor here, as I cannot believe that cha1n managed to get away 13 points of health, but huge in-your-face damage coming in here from Rapha with the LG. He manages to put his first frag on the board.
Yeah, couldn't help that it was a matter of time. The evasiveness of cha1n is very, very good. He's going to need more of that, but he also needs the damage output. That's the problem. Also, I'm definitely looking forward to the highlight reel of DJ Wheat great escapes in pubs. So please keep your eyes peeled on the YouTube video for that.
FFA escapes, okay? Like, where you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get away with 5 points health. It doesn't matter. Just die and respawn. But no, it was amazing.
Too much honor. I'm into it. Can't wait. So rapha takes the 1 frag lead as we're getting closer and closer to 6 minutes. And a really low-scoring game, but I think that's a testament to the way cha1n has to play. Ooh, but he gets just the rail in the cheeks, and rapha, look at that rocket jump to cover all this ground, make sure he can make it to the mega, has the items on rotation, hitting the rail, and this is just real rough right now. Surprise! And cha1n kind of knew it. cha1n was like, I'm dead. This is it. Maybe even waiting for a bull rush and trying to hit him with the Olay. But rapha, he knows that ledge is bad news, so he's not going to use the bull rush there. Instead, offs with the shotgun, and just like that, you blink, wheat, and it's 4-0.
That is rough. And look at just the aggression coming out here by rapha, knowing what he can do as well. And it doesn't matter how many grapples you could do. The amount of damage rapha dish out right there. cha1n has to run away, means a free mega here for rapha. And suddenly his pace has just improved a lot. Great stream of LG coming in for cha1n. But it doesn't matter. 1 or 2 barrels in your mouth, and that'll end that story there. 5-0. Heavy picked up, and in the final 3 minutes, it looks like rapha wants to pick up the pace on this one.
Really good rockets, and this is an opportunity here for cha1n, but he needs to try and get back to this mega as soon as he can. Here he comes down the staircase, grabbing that 50 shard. Great rail. Needs to convert right now, but he can't do it. rapha with the mega pickup during the fight, and that has just got to be heartbreaking. Almost gets the Goomba stomp, but cha1n actually picks him out of the sky with the rail, so a little glimmer of hope maybe, but 5 frags down against the scale. It's going to take a lot, and he misses out on the heavy, almost gets sent off the map. He's hanging by a thread, wheat, and the shotgun, the buckshot can travel. 7-1.
I mean, you got to give cha1n some props for these defensive rails. He's hit quite a few, bumped his accuracy up to about 38%, and a lot of those have been like panic running away from rapha rails. But 7-1, pretty decisive lead here from rapha. Might have been slow on the start, but once rapha was given a little bit of room, clearly separated the frag count, and we'll make it by 1 more. 8-1.
8-1 indeed, 8 minutes in, and that's kind of what makes rapha one of the greatest players, right? So you figure scale against Athena, all right, I have the stack, I could charge through and burn some of my stack to get the frag. He's very patient. He was like, I don't have to rush any of these frags, any of these attacks. Got all day, and once I get the frag, it's going to snowball out of control in my favor, especially if it's a clean frag. There's the hook to get away, but the bull rush almost lands. Is the LG going to be enough? cha1n trying to make, you know, at least a mutual happen. Unfortunately for him, rapha hanging by a thread. Good rail there on the way up, but look at the stack. I mean, what do you do, wheat? Especially with a less than a minute 30. It's just like every time you frag him, it's almost making it harder for yourself. It's impossible.
I mean, cha1n's game plan with the rail has worked at least, you know, at least twice. Unfortunately, again, mostly defensive.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
huge direct rocket into rail combo. rapha picks up his 10th frag. And I mean, you know, that rail game really depends on, you know, if your opponent is going to play mid to far against you, and that's just not what rapha is interested in doing, right? You know, yeah, having the grapple to make some distance has helped, but even on a few of those chases, rapha's gotten the best of those as well. Bull rush is up again, picks up the mega, and with the 40 seconds left to go, this one is over, and we will be setting our sights to game number 2, which is going to be on Deep Embrace. But pretty much the outcome that I expected to see here.
Yeah, I mean, again, strong start from rapha. cha1n had an uphill battle from the beginning, and just it's so hard to, even if you have a game plan and you've tried it against other players, trying to execute your original game plan against rapha, damn near impossible because of his mid-game adaptation and how good he is at starting to read you, notice your patterns, and then say, okay, you're doing this, I'm not going to let you do this at all. And just, yeah, again, we saw it kind of snowball in rapha's favor after that first frag. Just uphill battle with an Athena versus a scale, especially dropping the first one. And yeah, rapha being rapha.
I mean, we saw some nice dances. The
Great
little
escapes,
rail
yeah.
room bamboozle, the great escapes. You know, some exciting moments. But again, that's a tough pace to keep up with for an entire 10 minutes. You know, one grapple that doesn't quite get you over that lip 40, or, you know, right there, the acceleration into the teleporter, didn't matter. That one pixel rail is all Rapha needed. And, you know, tall order, right, to be able to say, play a absolutely perfect Athena, because when he wasn't able to, that's when Rapha really capitalized, and thus the 11-1 score. So moving on to Deep Embrace now, it's going to be Ranger versus Keel. And Keel usually heavily favored on this particular map 40. What do you think with Rapha on the Ranger?
I feel like cha1n has to be very cognizant and careful of the burst damage up close. I know as Keel you feel pretty confident, you have a good stack going, you have the pineapples, but Ranger can just get so close so fast, do the burst damage and swap to shotgun and just chunk through a champ like Keel, Scale, etc. So he needs to be very cautious of that, but otherwise I feel like cha1n, if he's going to take a map, this might be the one. The ability to snowball is rather quick on Deep Embrace. The Keel, I like that pick because of the stack. If you can get some items going, get some pineapples going. If he knows the spawns, like we saw Maxter earlier today, just absolutely crush rails off the spawn. It's gonna be rough because I mean it's Rapha obviously, but I feel like if he's gonna win one of the maps, this one might be in his favor because Vale against DK is gonna be rough.
Yeah, that one is going to be rough, and I would agree with you. If there's a map win potential, it's probably here. You know, get some bonus points just for playing Keel. You know, grenades and pineapples do great on this map as well. Of course, Rapha with a little bit of mobility advantage might be able to get him out of some rough spots. But small map, both players hitting rails. We'll have to see how this one will play out, but still. Rapha's looking good, right? Putting up yet another really solid win against his opponent. So it's going to have to be a pitch perfect game here for cha1n.
And chat's locking in the predictions. It's all Rapha. Almost 3 million points in his favor. 87% say Rapha's probably going to take this. But, you know, how dare you, chat? As we're getting in a second map right now between Rapha and cha1n. We're live on Deep Embrace.
We're going to be looking through the eyes of Rapha.
Look at that
Spawns
play.
over near the middle, grabs himself the light and the heavy. And already those pineapples coming out. His opponent, cha1n, knows exactly where he is at, but has a way to scoop out of here. Do not think cha1n has a rail yet. He doesn't. So Rapha just really staying and committing here to kind of keep the rail out of the hands of his opponent. Unfortunately, those pineapples say it's time to move out. And the boxes were packed, and Rapha's out of there.
Just such a good play right off the bat using that Ranger passive. The rocket jump deny the 50 shard. There's the dire orb for misdirection. Now he's very weak. cha1n hitting some good damage. No rockets for Rapha. The rail through the drive-through window connects. Needs a little bit more. Both players railable extremely weak right now as cha1n makes his way over to the heavy, trying to catch out Rapha. He's just too weak to make a play, so both players will grab their respective item. But here comes Rapha right off the bat into the rail. What a shot.
I mean, the moment that Rapha saw the heavy was up and he knew that cha1n had not picked up that mega, I was worried for cha1n there. As cha1n double back, decided to go for the mega. It was an easy setup there for Rapha. You're very exposed, obviously. LG was the weapon of choice. It did its job. Here we are, 1-0 now. And Rapha with what I would definitely say is the control he wants now. Might not be able to hold on to it. His opponent makes over to the mega. He cannot catch him there. And so cha1n at least does have that going for him here off the spawn.
And cha1n needs to be very careful here around the corner. Ooh, if he would have connected with that rocket, that would have been a big opportunity there. Rapha somehow slides past all of the rocket damage, does some pretty good LG damage, goes back through the telly, almost gets a very clutch rail there. cha1n doing a good job of getting back to the heavy, taking a little bit of damage on the way, but still not too bad. His stacks, all things considered, about even here. 2 minutes in, dire orb in hand for Rapha.
Yep, waiting for the opportunity. He did swap major items there. Tribolt chipping away with a little bit of damage. And now looking for it. Oh, beautifully placed rocket as he jumps around the side. Could potentially rocket jump up, and there it is. LG on top. About 3 seconds until the heavy, and there it is. And now he's going to be able to make his way over to the mega as well. Oh, cha1n was ready for it. It hits a rail. Another nice defensive rail. Bringing those back from map 2 as well. Unfortunately, not enough to get that frag, but did a good job of stopping rapha in his tracks.
What a rail from rapha. Yeah, those 2 rails were absolutely paramount. cha1n to hit in the tri-bolt. He's got to be careful. He wants to stick around to try and get this heavy, but he's so early. rapha with the tri-bolt using good weapons here. 17 HP though. Can cha1n find the damage he needs? Trying to lob a pineapple through the grate, but no dice. So rapha at the very least seals away the heavy, but now he's grabbing the bubbles to actually stay alive and contest for this mega.
Headed on over there, picked up by cha1n. Waiting at the top of the jump pad. LG damage unanswered, a lot of it unanswered. Shotgun coming out, and there is an easy pickup for rapha. Really laying it on with that LG, and then finishing off easy with the frag. And he's going to set himself up for a heavy here as he jumps over the railing through the teleporter. Lands a rocket on his way through. Not going to grab it right away, and easily picks up that frag. Actually, I mean, does get the from the grave pineapple to the face, but we'll set up here for the mega and maybe even a frag off of the spawn. There it is, converted. 4-0 for rapha.
Just brutal. rapha so good off the spawn, knowing where he wants to pin, kind of force the spawn for his enemy. cha1n does have a rail now, so he can kind of try and play distance, try and slow this down. There's the jump, super aggressive, and actually says, yoink, this is mine. And now rapha has to be careful here as the rail will miss, but cha1n has the stack advantage, trying to catch him out. Huge rocket, kick it around the corner, tries to fight, cha1n takes him down.
Nice job, cha1n picking up his first frag, knowing when it's time to turn on that aggression, and doing it in fantastic style as well. We're not even halfway through this map, and I think cha1n, desperately needed that just to slow down the momentum of rapha and put his first frag on the board, but to try to find a way to, mount a comeback. We're going to have the mega up here in about 8 seconds, and we're going to have a fight over it. Actually, cha1n outside that room is going to be forced to give it up to rapha, and that puts rapha in a nice spot. cha1n with a little bit better stack. And up on the middle area, nice rockets. No grenades coming out quite yet. LG. Oh, great rail. We do have the orb coming out, but somehow rapha, just every rocket hitting the mark there, making it his 5th frag. 5-1.
And I love the rocket jump up instead of using the jump pad so he didn't float. It was very direct, very quick. cha1n didn't really expect it, and that's what opened that up. A great rail from cha1n here. On the reply, almost gets it, but rapha picks him out of the sky with a rail of his own. 6-1. There's the drive-by through. He needs to get this frag. Mega's up to his back as well. Is rapha going to try and make a play? Does have the dire orb if he wants to try and steal that away. There's a big rocket.
Oh.
Now cha1n has to try and escape. He's actually going to double back for it.
We have both items up right now. And rapha thought he was just going to go right for the heavy, decided to take that shot. Got to shoot your shots. Over near the mega, they missed, but both players splitting these items. And here we go, orb up into the LG. And that was a confident cleanup there from rapha, 7-1.
cha1n getting crazy. Trying to chunk damage, can't land the pineapples to turn the tide in his favor, 8-1. And yeah, that dire orb, the minute that he kind of saw the tri-bolt out, or a sub-optimal weapon, he was just in his face with LG, punishing appropriately. And cha1n just on the receiving end of a bit of a beatdown here, 9-1 as rapha using that passive to rocket jump up and claim that heavy with ease. Oh, big rocket.
It's just turning into the rapha show here a little bit. Even some overkill there with that one. 10-1. Rockets would have done it. Decided to let the orb get some fun in as well. Mega's about up, and at this point, it's starting to look like rapha's game. Setting up a little trap behind the pillar, and not going to let you fall off the map. cha1n with a nice rail. 10-2. He's hitting some nice shots, 40, right? He's making some good decisions, especially, off the spawn, knowing when he can fight. Get some damage with those grenades, but rapha has just kind of been that one elevated step above him. And now down to 12 points of health. rapha in the danger zone. Can cha1n make it happen? There it is, vertical rail. Make it 10-3.
cha1n is, he's popping off. I mean, it's still 10-3. He's down by 7, but this rail is heating up for cha1n. So if you keep this up and pick up the pace a little bit here, maybe there's a chance. I know Dan is shaking his head, but I don't really care anymore. There's a rapha with a rail of his own. There's the dire orb for the cutoff. Ooh, and he takes it after the fact. Can he get it? And he does. What a play from rapha there. cha1n just I don't know. I don't know how you come back from this. 2:30 left on the board, down 8, and you're just running into, Rapha can hit rails too. And the repositioning and the burst damage of the Dire Orb, this is just, it seems insurmountable.
And it is. I mean, looking at the damage right now, 4,100 for Rapha, 2,700 from cha1n. It just goes to show how much damage is not being answered back by cha1n, right? Whether that is those little tri-bolt tickles or the rails that are hitting from afar. A lot of LG damage that's just coming out unanswered, taking his opponent by surprise. 13-3 now with 2 minutes left to go, and I think the damage pretty much, tells that story. cha1n's had some great decisions, great shots, but not enough to be able to take this game.
Oh, what? And I think cha1n, yeah. I don't know what happened. A little bit of a misstep. cha1n is out there taking a swim as Rapha even looks back, takes a second, says, "What's just happening, man?" Oh, the rocket from Rapha! What the hell was that, Weed?
Put it in a frag movie, 40. That was mighty tasty right there. And I think cha1n at this point is just kind of turning on the flames and saying, let's just do it. Let's just duke it out. The bell's about to ring and rails are out. So actually Rapha's like, nah, I don't have to rail battle you. He pulls out his machine gun for his 15th frag. This is going to be a pretty convincing 3-0 here.
Oh my god.
But, cha1n, again, looks like he has what he needs to really build that evolution of cha1n, right? What we were hoping we were going to see here throughout stage 2. So I like that we're still seeing remnants of that. But unfortunately, this is still just a cha1n turned up to 10 and not a cha1n turned up to 11. And I think that's what you need in order to take a map off Rapha.
I completely agree. And
wow,
it's just insane, right? The display here from Rapha, it's like, you're used to seeing kind of the calculated Rapha. Yeah, I'm going to make the great read. Yeah, I know where you're going to be. But then you see these rockets, some of the shots, and as I say that, Rapha whiffs everything and goes down. But that's not the point, Wheat. The point is, overall, if you're running into a Rapha that's hitting crazy shots and playing the way he usually plays, it is going to be a tough time for you. 17-5 is going to be the end score for map number 2, as cha1n is on a rough ride right now. Set is in Rapha's favor, 2-0, going for the clean 3-0. I don't know if it's going to happen on Veil, personally, against that Death Knight. I don't know.
Yeah, that's rough. I don't think it's going to, right? I think you kind of called it out. Veil seems to be a perfect map there for DK. And, that was another rough one, 17-5 and a 2-0 victory for Rapha so far. We're going on to our third map on Veil, but yeah, it's just it's too bad. I don't want to feel like I'm dogging on cha1n at all. I'm not. In fact, there's a couple of moments in there, right? Really impressive shots. Again, a lot of what I think cha1n needs in order to make these wins happen, but I don't know if it's just putting in a little bit more time, feeling more comfortable with the map pool. I don't know. But we're taking it on to the third game, and I'll still be curious to watch cha1n during the stage 2 finals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the Rocket's nutty from Rapha, to say the least, and it's always an uphill battle going against the end boss, at least on the Americas side. So it's not a matter of dogging on cha1n at all. I completely agree with you. He's more than a capable player. It's just you're running into this brick wall known as Rapha, who has more accolades than I can even count. Because again, public school in America. But cha1n on Veil, this one's going to be more interesting. I feel like it's an uphill battle, even with the Galena against the Death Knight. That burst damage is just so massive with the changes and the buffs. Any given Sunday, I mean, you play all 3 maps for a reason, so maybe this is the one where cha1n can squeak a win out, kind of go into the Stage 2 finals with a little bit of confidence. But if he drops 0-3, I almost feel like most players now are just like, it was Rapha. Like, that's fine. It's a different game, Like, I don't know. That's not the best way as a competitor that you want to think about it, but you are playing the best player. So you got to give yourself a little bit of a break, even though you're a competitor just like everyone else in the league.
I mean, and even so, to win this map would be a great final action leading into the Stage 2 finals. So, definitely do not expect to see cha1n turn it off and just sort of letting Rapha run it. I think he's going to give it his all. Would love to see a map win here. Think it's going to be pretty unlikely, but as you like to say, any given Sunday, 40. We're live. Take it away.
Any given Sunday, indeed. Is initial skirmish over the rockets there. Rapha knows it wasn't safe. cha1n making sure that thinks twice before even going near them here as Rapha just dropped down. Trying to play a little bit of a distance. Wow, good nail damage here, and he has the stack to push in on this. Does finally get in on the rockets. cha1n now has a rail. Rapha knows where the totems are now. He face checks that one.
Yeah.
Good deal. Oh my god.
Oh, well, there you go. As we saw it firsthand, Totem to try to heal on this one, but an easy follow-up frag here for Rapha. And how unfortunate 40 Lions, because everything we were seeing in the opening moments of this game is like, all right, I'm excited for it. And then boom, exit the teleporter. It's a fiery death, a very hot death. And Rapha's on the board with this first frag.
On the board with the first frag, but also opened up the map to full control with a huge split. And goodness gracious, great balls of fire is all you can really say. 2-0. cha1n in a bad way right now. Will have Totem up shortly, but he doesn't actually have any one of them down. Little LG push to force Rapha to the low ground, but with the time split, he should be able to make it. There it is again! And he just can't do it. It's so close. The flame strike. And cha1n,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, you saw that, didn't you? With the oh, no.
Oh, yeah. All of that. Just the last 20 seconds to be surrounded by flames in a flame cage, and then the rail off of the spawn. That would make anyone drop their mouse for just a moment. And already Rapha seeing a 4-0 lead here as we're about to hit the 2-minute mark. Oh, the lightning gun to deny the heavy, and then the chase to the shoddy frag. 5-0, 2 minutes in. Rapha, it looks like he did not shift gears down at all. 40 from the last matchup.
Not at all. If anything, he's just going, he's going Super Saiyan, which is just unfair. 2 minutes in, 6-0 with no signs of stopping. He's said it before, all gas, no brake, no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's regular season, grand finals, whatever it is. He's hitting rails now, he's popping off. cha1n in a bad way, trying to fight his way for this mega, but he gets floated on down. Rapha with yet another frag, 7-0. Grabbing up all the resources before he goes for the majors, and just brutal right now, Wheat.
Rapha's just weapon handling is so on point. He is just constantly dishing out damage, whether it is that little tri-bolt tick, right, almost missed it, right there, using his ability, machine gun, rail, LG. It's just always the right weapon at any given time. And we're seeing it right there. cha1n with a nice rail. Can he get his first frag? Oh my god, Rapha on the hunt. And oh my gosh, that's 6 HP rail. And I think he knew that cha1n didn't have much of an arsenal there.
Oh
Took
my
advantage
god.
of it. I don't know if he had that LG yet, but I cannot believe that he wasn't able to get that frag.
Just so close, knowing that he's low, just going for the glory kill, if you will. But that tri-bolt from down below, so brutal, and cha1n, it's not safe. Just gets bounced. The knockback is absolutely brutal through the telly. Oh, man. Game finally slowing down, luckily for cha1n. Tries to hit that rail, no dice. Rapha sees that, almost thinks about pushing that, doing a little bit of damage on the heavy, but I think he knows the split and he could probably get there if he wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, what do you how do you approach this one, right? Given how Rapha has shown how he's going to play this, when his ability's up, he's going to throw the fire out, he's going to make it burn. And it doesn't matter if you're above him or below him or in his face or far away. He seems like he is absolutely making that work. And got rails from the top to the bottom. There it is. Flames all the way down. And he'll just make his way over to that mega. And we have slowed down 40, just like you said. But still seems like Rapha's holding on to that control.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 7-0. cha1n trying to get back into this. He stopped the bleeding, but, it's still a lot of blood that he's lost, Weed. So, let's see if he can make some magic happen here as we're near the halfway point. Maybe that rocket's going to be the big one. There's the totem, but It'll go down to a mutual. Rapha takes out cha1n and himself because he's just that kind of gentleman. And I think the key might be here that there's no real totem economy going for cha1n. Usually we see Galenas try and control the top of the map near the Mega, but he just hasn't been able to get it going. And Rapha has free reign to go up and down and all around. And if anything, he's been controlling the top most of this game.
Completely agree. And you know, like what can you do in that regard, right? If you're not trying to manage those totems. I mean, the first totem I think I saw him kill was right off the spawn that he didn't, you know, face check himself, and through the teleporter. Another hit with the fire, follow-up damage as well. But if you can't get that going for yourself, you know, I don't know really what you can do against Rapha in this situation. So it's going to make the rocket jump up to the Mega. Finally grab that in the middle of this LG battle. Rapha very, very low. Takes a jump pad up. Rail misses.
Wow.
But Rapha's does not. And there he gets rid of that totem.
That is so...
As his 8th frag registers on the board.
So frustrating. cha1n does a great drive-by rail there to get that, but I like how cha1n positioned and used the Mega mid-fight. It gave him the maximum opportunity to try and win that one, but Rapha with the trampoline play just gets the rail. Very unfortunate. Even maybe, dare I say, a little tilting for cha1n, as that frag should have been a lot cleaner. And how is cha1n alive? That machine gun, just so much damage in only a matter of time. That rocket ends it like Beckman. Down goes cha1n again. And this is, again, just the Rapha show. We've seen it so many weeks in a row. It's almost annoying to some, I'm sure.
I mean, annoying to some. For those who just like great precision surgical Quake, they love to watch Rapha regardless of who his opponent is. I think there is a little bit of like, and I think Rapha knows this too, I think there's a group of Quake fans who just want to see, you know, Rapha dismantled, but I don't think because they don't like Rapha. I think because that means it's going to be an incredible series, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there just hasn't been an opponent super matched lately here to make that happen. So understand both sides of that coin, but 10-1 here as we are seeing a little clinic with DK on Veil. A beautiful rail for 11-1. Exquisite.
Chunky rockets there from cha1n, but he just couldn't follow up, and there's the flame strike, and now he's in big trouble here, just trying to hug him, just please. Like a boxer, just hugging. I need room to breathe. Give me a second, but there's no hugging in the arena. Wait, you can't do that. Ooh, there's the mutual.
Wow. Rockets coming out even with that LG, absolutely relentless. And cha1n is going to pick up his first frag. No, excuse me, his third frag.
It feels like the first,
but
doesn't
still, it kind of does. First frag in the last few minutes is what I totally meant to say, 40.
And we'll count it as the rails are exchanged and cha1n trying to go for another one, because what choice does he have? No major items for the next 13 seconds. Rapha off fresh spawn, has the flame strike, has a rail, and there it is. There's the combo of both, and down he goes. And yeah, just it was going to be a rough ride. DK's just so strong on this map. We've seen cha1n go through the telly 5 or 6 times and just eat flame strike. It is not safe to go through that. Rapha using it really well now, defending the rockets really well. Good LG, and Rapha actually takes out Rapha, and so does cha1n. He's like, you know what? Why bother?
And then off the spawn. You know, one thing I will say, with 3 appearances by DK this Sunday, it's kind of exciting going to his stage finals with a few weeks for everyone to, you know, kind of acclimate with the map pool and a champ pool, and we might see some real interesting meta in play and in development during that stage 2 finals. That's pretty exciting, 40.
I agree completely. One little change, and the landscape of champ picks has completely changed, and now players have to be aware of that. It's another champ that is very viable and could be an absolute nuisance. So now you got to rethink your pick bans. You got to rethink what maps you want to play those pick bans on. What a rail from Rapha. The Sausage King out here hitting him with the blat. But yeah, I completely agree. And it's going to be very exciting to see how it all unfolds. Stage 2 finals 2 weeks away.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it's sort of been hiding away here until the final weeks, and then it's going to hit on the stage finals, that's I like it. However, here as the final seconds tick away, it is going to be a huge victory for Rapha with a 17 frag win on that one. And he will take it 3-0, 17-3, the final score. 3-0 for Rapha, puts him in the number 1 seed. Although Dehang kind of felt the taste, he got to chew on it a little bit. Rapha retains number 1 going into the stage 2 finals. And unfortunately for cha1n, he drops 3-0, but he's still sitting decently, I think, overall in the rankings. Let's bring ZSX back to find out what he thought about that matchup.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, tell me all about it, Dan. Welcome back.
I don't think it was anything too unexpected. Map 1 was slow-paced and cha1n kept it wrangled well, but it played out as expected with Scale Bearer reigning supreme. But then maps 2 and map 3 were just pretty demolishing. And I think particularly map 2, I was a little bit concerned with cha1n's strategy. I think for me, he's far too rail dominant, and Rapha did an amazing job for a large period of that game to keep the rail away from cha1n.
Yeah.
But even then, you're playing kill and you're trying to engage in these railges with Rapha and you're losing them, and there wasn't really a plan B. And then similarly on map 3, it felt that cha1n by that point was a little bit disheartened, and it was a bit of a whitewash, but it was nice to see DK play to a high level as well. But again, it was a very rail heavy game that Rapha just was winning that type of engagement. So good day at the office for Rapha as per usual. Slightly disappointed for cha1n though.
Yeah, definitely a rough one for cha1n, but we have the man himself in the booth with us. Rapha, congratulations again on yet another 3-0.
Congrats.
Congrats.
Dan, you want to open it up?
Oh crap, that was quick. Yeah, sure. How are you? I mean, I think we're all going to ask this question, so I'm going to do the easy one. How are you feeling going into the finals? You've had a good season, not undefeated this time, but still a very good season, sitting in first place now. So, what's the mood like in the Rapha camp?
I think it's kind of the same as going into the playoffs last stage, where I felt pretty good overall with like my consistent play, but it's just I've been having some internet issues lately, and so it's just going to be about the last like 2 weeks is just trying to stay extremely focused and in the moment, even when things, like, just to put it bluntly, feel like shit. Like when you're not able to play at your optimal level, and just really just find a way to win, no matter how it is, like to be adaptable and to try to just play to the strengths and weaknesses of the opponent, and just do what you got to do to win. So that's what I'll be working on over the next 2 weeks, just going into the playoffs.
I got a question, Rapha. First off, congratulations. Great stage for you. We had an interesting change here, right? In DK, bringing back, we saw DK 3 times today, and including your matchup. I'm curious to hear from you on A, thoughts about the change, but B, how we now have this break that heads into the stage 2 finals. And we were talking about it will be interesting to see what happens as the meta will develop and unfold during the stage finals, as I imagine people are going to be taking a look at this champ, you using it, several others using it. How can I work it in? Where does it make sense against what champs? Is there any area this might help or hurt me? So I'd love to hear first thoughts on the changes, and then B, how you think this will play out kind of with the break and then going into stage 2 finals, essentially having another legitimate champ pick in the pool.
I think the fact that we have not just 1 week between now and the playoffs, but 2 weeks is huge. And the fact that there was a change to him, which was much needed. Everybody could see, like, at the bottom of the stats pool, he was like the least played champion. So he needed a little bit of love. The problem is, with balancing him, it's like it's really hard to balance him, because he either becomes this super bursty nuke champion, or he doesn't do much at all. But so far, I feel like this is a good step in the right direction. He feels much better. I wanted to try him out today in like a competitive environment to try to get a feel for how good that I think he is. And I think over the next 2 weeks, all of us will be playing him and testing him on various maps to see whether he'll be played or not. And my guess is that he won't necessarily be like a first pick or ban. And as Dan has kind of alluded to, he's very good on a few specific maps. But I think what's happened is it's what we've wanted, to where once it gets to the best of 5 portion of the playoffs, he's not such a detriment to pick later down the line. So it'll be a champ that you'll see picked on like the 3rd, 4th, or 5th map now, and it'll be a pretty even matchup across the board for the most part, where he could still kind of compete in some matchups before the buffs, but it was really difficult in some matchups. So it's a welcome change, that's for sure.
So, in terms of ramp up, I mean, same as usual. You always mention kind of ramping up to the stage finals. You're going to play a little bit and then increase. Yeah, I already know how it's going to go. I don't even want to ask that. So I'm going to ask you something a little bit different because it's not always about you, Rapha.
Okay.
So the challengers landscape is set. Sib versus, it's going to be, what is it?
Dewey,
I already forgot. Dewey. Yeah. Sib, Dewey, and then we got Chance, Cygib. On the America side, what do you think about that? Do you have any insight? Are you following that at all, or are you just hyper-focused on, hey, I might 3-peat?
I mean, I'm really focused on trying to win, but, I always try to pay attention to the competition. So it'll be really interesting to see these matchups, and I think going into it, Sib has the advantage because he's been practicing a lot compared to what Dewey's been able to do recently, and but the Chance Cygib game should be really close. It should be really fun for people to watch. And then who's playing on the EU side? Do we know? I mean, we should.
It's going to be, I believe it's Hell Garpy, and I believe it's Buckster and CNZ.
You hate it when family fights.
I know. I hate it. But what are you going to do? Someone's got to go.
My guess is that both of the Europeans will stay. That's my guess, and at least one of the NA will be shifted out. So.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, but I'll watch the Euro one closely because I think one of those will feed into my portion of the bracket. So same like last time, that'll be like my first matchup is somebody who's already played, they're warmed up, and so I just need to see what they're bringing to the table and hopefully weather the storm through that and get stronger and stronger as the tournament goes on.
Sure. And real quick, since we're not going to see anyone for 2 weeks, in tournament play on those days, the 23rd through the 25th, what does Rapha eat when he wakes up? Like, what is the diet going in? Because chat is blowing up about what do you eat.
Depends on the day of the tournament. Because the farther I get, the more anxious I get. Even still, after all these years, like when it comes to finals day, it's really hard for me to eat, especially in the morning. So I just try to eat. Like eggs and, maybe some yogurt or something like that, maybe some oatmeal in the morning. And then for lunch, I'll just try to make sure it's something healthy, like a salad, just regular chicken and rice, things like that. Make sure you don't like wear yourself down eventually with like greasy food, which sometimes at events, that's a big issue. It's like, there's not much food to eat, at
hey man,
events.
The bubble guts are real.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
But I think, and the biggest thing that I've noticed over the years is to constantly keep snacking, whether it's on like, some fruit here or there, some like almonds, something like that, a little bit of chocolate.
Skittles.
Skittles is the victory.
That kind of snacking. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but no, I think it's always important to do that because you don't want to get into a match and then halfway through your body starts crashing. Because it does take a toll on you. Like, even if it's just like you're struggling to time all the items, then now you're missing out on 1 or 2. That's a big difference, even if it's not affecting your aim, or vice versa. Your aim starts to slow down. It can change the amount of fights that you could take throughout the game. So it's really important to be eating right, drinking a lot of water, and got to put in the Monster Energy, plug in there too. Got to have a little bit of that.
Just a little bit.
Just
Dan,
a little bit.
Anything else?
Well done.
Just a little bit. Dan Wheat, anything you want to close with Rapha?
No, congratulations, man. As always, it's been great to watch your games this season. Always putting on a show for us, so we appreciate that. Some absolutely frag movie worthy stuff in that last game. So good luck in the next couple weeks. I hope you get some rest. Hope you get some practice, and be excited to see you again in the
Thanks,
finals.
guys. See you in a couple weeks.
Best of luck in the finals.
Thank you.
Best of luck indeed, and congrats. There it is, the holy man himself. He's out here in the arena, cleansing everyone of their sins, saying amen, while everyone running into him is saying amen. So, Dan Wheat, that's it. Dan, silence. I'm speaking, please. No, I'm just kidding. That's it for us. Regular season is wrapped up. 13 weeks have
Wow.
flown by. What do we say? Wheat, what do you say for that?
I don't know, man. Where is the time? Where's the time gone? I'm excited for the finals coming up. I mean, it seems like we were just here. Excited to spend 3 days of just insane Quake with all the boys and girls from chat and all of you. So it's good. I'll need these couple weeks to rest so that we can really bring our all in a couple weeks. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I really want Jackie back. I need more of a rest after casting with a month for the 40 than Rapha does now. It's been taxing, but I've made it, and I'm really
I'm
looking
trying my
forward to
best. Look, I'm growing this. I'm trying to fill the void. I don't know what you want from me. I'm doing my best.
It's
It's subpar at best. Okay, got it.
But I'm looking forward to the finals as per usual. It's going to be good. Can't believe it's 2 weeks away, so I get time to refresh and come back strong.
Absolutely. I mean, as always, big shouts to production, PGL, Bethesda, week in, week out, for putting this on, the players, everybody in the chat. It's been fantastic. Looking forward to the Stage 2 finals. Do not forget, keep it locked on twitter.com/Quake, as well as quake.pglesports.com. Announcements will be there, brackets, everything. Stay tuned. But yes, 2 weeks off. So take your rest, enjoy, play some Quake. But we will see you April 23rd through the 25th. Lock it in, mark it off. And yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And as always, appreciate you guys. It's a pleasure to share the booth with you, even you, Dan, but also Wheat. So it's been a pleasure, and looking forward to the finals.
Let's go.